All right, chat. We gotta talk. It's time. We gotta talk about season 10. I originally did this a couple days ago, but I think it's nice. I think it's very easy to say. I was not happy at that time. The gameplay loop plus all this shit this season sucks. And you know, it was a little bit of emotion in it because this season is probably my least favorite in a long time. And I'm deciding to redo it because I feel like I probably could do it a little bit better and a little bit more in a constructive way. Everything I said still is true. Like, none of it's changed. The feelings still are all the same. So let's start. What's up with season 10? The first one, the big one, and I think the one we should get out of the way first, is what they've done to ranked. So right now in high level ranked, apparently it's changed as of today, but I'm still not convinced. The game is broken. If you queue in a wide group, which a wide group, if you haven't seen, I'll show you really quick on the ranked screen, in GM or champion is anything. So if you are a duo queue, a trio queue, or a 5-stack, you're considered a wide group. The reason that becomes a problem is duo queue has never been a problem in Overwatch, ever, in history. What they're trying to do is make it so that games are a little bit better, and that you can also play with friends, while also not ruining the solo queue experience, which is good. The key, in my opinion, is making it so that duo queue can queue both into 3 stacks and 5 stacks, as well as solo players. That's not how this currently works. Now, there is a tweet that did come out today, so I'm going to give them credit, and I will show you the tweet really quick. This tweet came out earlier and said, "We push the matchmaking changes that are targeted at season 10's implementation of wide groups. Overall, these changes should clamp down on some of the outlier queue times. In GM, you are now able to make narrow groups if your party is within 3 divisions of each other. We'll monitor the results of these bundled changes over the next few days. Overall, the season 10 changes have contributed to a large improvement in match quality for most players. Big wins. Team is continuing to refine and take care of more extreme cases." I'm not, like, I don't know how they measure this. Now, apparently they have a way internally that they mention that, or that they measure this stuff. Sometimes in chat earlier that said that basically they're trying to make it so that the highest player in the lobby and the lowest player in the lobby, they're trying to smush them closer together so it's more of an even game. But there's some big problems that this has caused, and I will just show you mine, and there's others too. But here's me the other night trying to play some ranked with car queue, and we're sitting here in an hour and 47-minute long queue. And we were duo queued at like GM4 for me, and I think he's Masters 1. And that's not all. There's plenty of other people that have also had really long queue times or big problems with their queues. This was a GM5 duo queue. Yeah, and then there was also a night where Jay was in queue for over an hour with Waleed, and I ended up pulling him out to just 5-stack on off rolls. But this is ridiculous. This is actually insane. And you have a lot of people out there to just re-spew what people say is like, well, it's a wide match. Well, you shouldn't be waiting hours for a game to pop. And it's not just the high-level GM players that are having that problem. People in the metal ranks are having that problem as well. Yeah, Guru's been playing everyone has the problem. Everyone's trying to play, and they legitimately can't get games. It's so bad. It's terrible. So, like, putting that aside, they're trying to fix it, and I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. As of today, they're saying it should be better, but that doesn't change the fact that for the entire first week of the season, if you were GM5 or above, you legitimately could not get a game unless you were solo queue. And if you know anything about playing solo queue in this game, nobody talks. Everyone's at a voice the entire time. Half the time you get somebody just typing at you the entire time, talking shit or complaining about whatever. There's no comms, there's no communication. Even all the pros do it. All the pros and all the contenders play it. Like, dude, honestly, like, yeah, I honestly kind of hate playing with pro players nowadays, because not because it's about winning or losing, but half the time they're out of voice and don't say a word, or play on alt accounts, you know, and it's so cringe, and it's ass, and it's not a good time. And actually on the SVB podcast this week, we were talking about it a bit, and so I enjoy playing with friends, and Emong does too. And when Emong, when we were talking before, it's like, yeah, he has a solo queue in the morning because nobody's on yet, and his games are ass. Nobody has a good time. And at the end of the day, it's a video game. And yeah, there's people that are obviously grinding to be pros and grinding to improve and whatnot. But dude, if you literally can't even have any fun playing the game and you're punished for playing with friends that badly, you're gonna kill your game. And if you're one of those people that sits there and goes, well, you know, that's ranked competitive integrity, it's like, no, it's not. I was forcing a solo queue experience competitive integrity, dude. Like, this isn't like a test. It's not a war that we're being ready for. It's ranked in a video game. I appreciate what they're trying to do and allow people to stack and trying to have so the stacking experience doesn't interfere with the solo queue experience, right? Like, solo players shouldn't play against 5 stacks, but also what people don't realize is in the normal queues for 99% of the time, when you were a solo player playing against a stack, your team's rating was much higher overall than that stack's, right? So the game was trying to compensate and be like, you know, the other team is all Masters 5 players, but your team's all Masters 3 or Masters 2 players. And so you're better mechanically and you're better individual players, but they might have better coordination, right? And so you would actually be pretty 50-50 on those games until you got to the top 10 lobbies. And then that's where, you know, the 4-stack NYXL at 3 in the morning meme comes from like, because like those are like the alpha players, right? Like, you're not going to beat them. It's a stack of pro players that are calming and playing together. Anyways, though, that's off of season 10. I don't want to go down that road too much and ramble. Ranked has been a big problem, and it sucks because last season was such an improvement. So starting right off the bat, can't even play ranked if you're a high level player unless you're just playing by yourself the entire time, and that's miserable. Next up is the new game mode. The new game mode seems pretty cool. It's only out for 1 week though, and then it's going to go back in the vault. I think as of today, it's already back in the vault. I actually unironically think that it might be a game mode that's too balanced. Every game I've played, every single game I played went to 4 to 5. And that was when I was getting it on Quickplay, when it was roll queue. Yeah, if you queued it in arcade, you got goats a lot of times, so it's not totally fair. But a lot of those went to 4 to 5 as well. Fun game mode though. I enjoyed it, but the downside is though it goes back in the vault till season 12, so it's like nothing new. You know, it's like, okay, like, all right, well, new game mode's gone, so whatever. Then you have the new hero, Venture. Venture, I think, depending on who you ask, is either broken or terrible. And I think that's a good sign that they released a hero that is, you know, on the safe side of strong and is pretty good. I have no complaints for Venture. I think Venture has a niche, and I think a lot of people still need to learn how to play them. But I do think that somewhat the hype probably isn't as big because of the playtest. Everyone kind of has already played them, but they got released directly into ranked, and I think that was actually probably the right call, and a lot of people would have enjoyed that. Granted, there was some outlier cases where people were throwing to get Venture. If they didn't get Venture, or, you know, you have that Venture who's not very good on your team because they just wanted to play Venture in ranked, and that blows, don't get me wrong. But if the rank system wasn't so broken, I think it probably would have been a net W. So, Venture release, pretty damn good. Streamer mode. Streamer mode got released, and don't get me wrong, it's great. It's awesome. The streamer mode has been a major win, a major success. My quality of games has gone through the roof since the streamer mode's come out. Or it was in the beginning, because there's a major flaw in the system. And I'm not going to tell you what the flaw is, but there's a bug where you can just do something in-game to then reveal what the streamer mode player's name is. And that blows, because it's a few buttons and then all of a sudden you know who the streamer mode is. So it actually doesn't fully work. It's great for like quick play, and it's great for, you know, outside of high level play, because like those players aren't so totally tapped in. They don't know all the, you know, the tricks and stuff that's come out super new. It sucks that it's bugged, and it's such a simple bug too, that it really does kind of, you know, put a damper on it. But yeah, it's just another negative on the season, and what should have been another positive, you know, and should have been a fully net positive. Then we had also this week the reporting bullshit. If you don't know the story, well, let me just grab them for you, I guess. This player, collegiate player, got banned for saying something in chat, and was like, can I get a person to respond? And the CS team responded and said, from what we can see, the account was suspended for inappropriate language. I see the F word and the SH word. For those who don't know what these two words were, it's f and shit. And then somebody responded and said, why would you have a profanity filter if no one is allowed to swear? If profanity is ban worthy, shouldn't the filter instantly ban anyone for swearing if it already detects? And they said, no, the filter is there for those who wish to use it, but profanity has never been allowed in our games. If reported, absolutely actionable. That's dog shit and bullshit. No, we all know it. Lying to our literal faces. Yeah, honestly, I ended up looking more into this. It kind of looked like they were sort of shit talking when they said the F and SH words, quote unquote, the fucking shit, from what but the follow-up video that was given, like basically like screenshots of like what they said was so, I don't know, like I didn't look into it too much, but it seemed like they were kind of shit talking, and apparently they had like 6 actions previously beforehand, so the ban might have actually been worthy, but the action of what they were saying is like, oh, if you say shit in your games, you get reported, you're gonna get banned, is bullshit. Because I've been playing this game for years, and I still know people that play this game that actually say hard slurs, like hard R, up shit, homophobic slurs, transphobic stuff. Like, they are still play this game every day, and they don't ever get banned. And if they do get banned, they just hop on another account because they have a million accounts. And it's like, if you really want to go hard for this type of shit, if someone types literally a racist slur in your game, it should be instant ban, literally instant chat mute, just like one tap. No, and it doesn't do that because they don't take that shit seriously. They've never taken that shit seriously, and this is dog shit. It's bullshit. And then they went further, and someone said, no way you're doubling down on this. Banning people for spamming slurs and sending death threats, rape threats, etc. Your player base doesn't give a shit about curse words. We want to be able to play the game without receiving violent threats every second game. And then they responded, report them joy. And to which they deleted. So that went around the internet, and you know, you had people like Charlie and Moist Critical and Asmongold making videos about it, of course dunking on Overwatch, because rightfully so at that point, although I think there was more to that story at the beginning with the whole shit talking thing, but regardless though, they're just, it's absolute nonsense, and it puts another damper on another season, because a lot of people do get banned in Overwatch, and unfortunately there's a lot of people that also cry wolf. And the garlic bread story from a few months ago is a great example of people lying on Reddit and trying to get attention on the internet and saying, I didn't even do anything yet, and then they ended up doing something. They literally did do something, but the CS account so bad, and it says like, oh, if you say shit, you're gonna get banned. And if that is true, that should not happen. If you say and shit in a game, you should not get banned. That is nonsense. That is bullshit. And I almost don't believe that there's no way that that's actually true, because if that is true, they're moronic. There has to be something to it, you know? If you type in game just and you get banned, that's what I'm saying, it shouldn't happen. But like, regardless though, like, it's just another thing that gets tacked on onto this season, and it's like another damper, another downer, another bad thing that gets hit this season. And I haven't even got to balance yet, because holy balance, Jesus Christ, don't even get me goddamn started. Well, you know what, before we do that, let's go quick play, right? They implemented the new quick play lever change, into which if you leave more than one game, you get banned for a few minutes. So it's like 5 minutes for 2 games, 5 minutes for 3 games, and then it scales upwards to where, now don't get me wrong, if you're banning like 10 games, it gives you like a 48-hour ban or something like that, but it gives you hours up until that point. And if you're leaving 10 quick play games, okay, you're kind of doing a lot, but it should not punish you for 2 games. It should be like maximum 4, because it's quick play. It's meant for fun, and nobody wants to sit there and quick play if your team's getting absolutely shit stomped, or somebody just talking mad shit, or someone just being annoying, or hell, let's say, you know, you're one of those people who doesn't like quote unquote throwers on your team. I'm not gonna lie, you're kind of a little bit of like, you know, you kind of bitch a little too much for that, because it's supposed to be the more fun game mode. You should be playing ranked if you actually be wanting to play the game seriously. That's why ranked exists, because quick play is not called quick play, it's not called unranked, it's quick play. Even though I know it's under the tab called unranked, but it's not even using ranked game rules. You only play attack or defense, and they give you more time, so the rules aren't even the same. So can't really call it a ranked game mode, because it's not even the same thing as a ranked game, so not really that 1-to-1 ratio. But the rules are ridiculously strict for no reason, and you should be getting people dropping in and dropping out of quick play games if they should want to. And you shouldn't feel like you're being held hostage into a game. And I would argue that even though they probably have data that more people play, you know, those quick play games that haven't been leaving, I bet the quality of those quick play games also has dropped a little bit because people just want to get out of the game as fast as possible. And then you also have people that are probably getting pissed off in those games and reporting those people for quote unquote throwing in quick play. And it's like, dude, why are we even doing this? Like, we're creating new problems for ourselves and creating new problems for people to fight over. It's insane. So like, I'm for having the quick play leaver penalties if they're leaving a lot of games, if they have the data that shows that there's tons of changes and they're good changes and it's helping improve the game, sure, but like how hard they're tightening up on it is just not fun. It feels gross. I don't like it. Let's come to the big one though. Balance and tank. Tank still blows. Tank blows ass. It's so trip. It's so dog shit. And the whole reason I even have to like re-record this kinda is because of how pissed off I was in just like the couple games of playing, because playing versus tank and playing as tank is the worst experience right now, because you can play against Orisa or some, and especially Orisa, and it's like you can get basically server admin rolled where the tank kills everybody because they're destroying, or you play tank and you absolutely just explode every fight. And there's such a swinging difference between the two, and it's like it feels terrible because depending on what's happening in the game, you either feel like you're having no impact or all the impact. And people will get really pissed off even in quick play games because like their Winston just kills 4 every fight and they're like, oh my god, like their Winston's rolling us, like our tank sucks. And it's like, dude, if you counter swap their tank, I guarantee they're not even going to be able to play the game anymore. But the counter swap game has evolved so much further past tank v tank counter swapping that it's like it's insane. And at the highest level, everyone just plays Orisa, and so we're here in another season of goddamn Orisa. And the worst part is, I think we're cooked. And if you saw my tier list, you know what I'm talking about. I think we're cooked because we have Orisa meta right now. Hog is juiced. Hog is juiced, but he's low-key sitting in the shadows. Mauga's also really still good and also sitting in the shadows. And so you have this meta where Winston's pretty good. You have Mauga being pretty good, Hog being pretty good, and Orisa being the king of them all. And once you shoot the king Orisa, Hog's gonna take over. And then when Hog takes over, Monkey's not gonna be as fun to play. But then when Hog takes over, what's gonna be the counter to Hog? In a lot of ways, it ends up actually being Mauga. So you're gonna have Hog and Mauga again. And guess what? These are all these boring ass numbers characters, and nobody has fun playing against them, and nobody has fun playing them other than the Hog players have fun playing Hog, I guess. But honestly, they're back. It's back to what it was before. The whole point of reworking Hog was to move one shot, and one shot's back now. So you can one-shot people again on Hog. And they also buffed his self-heal to 50% resistance during the 20% DPS passive. Then that got cooked to 15, so all self-heal's a little bit better, but he's still strong. So Hog is low-key sitting in the shadows ready to go. And so we have to wait another 3 weeks for a good patch. And if the next patch nerfs Orisa in 3 weeks, guess what? In 3 weeks from now, then we just all play Hog. And then we have to wait another month for another patch, which is a whole nother season. And then guess what happens then? If they nerf Hog at that point, Mauga probably takes over. When Mauga probably takes over, and we gotta wait a couple more weeks until maybe we have another golden age where it's a few weeks where, you know, something's good. And then at the same time, they give micro buffs to everyone else. Like Orisa will probably get another micro buff somewhere along the lines. And I'm so sick of every season just being this non-stop cycle of playing the juiced up numbers character tanks. I'm so sick of it. It's so ass. And the worst part is both statements are true, where you feel like if you play tank, you stand there and you can't do anything, and you're playing a spectator sport, but you also can play against tanks or play as tank and take over the entire lobby and just kill everybody, and it's not fun to play against. Who likes playing against an Orisa that just stands there with Fortify and shoots you? You can't do any damage back, you can't do shit. It's ass. It's not fun. But also, it's not fun to play as Orisa either half the time, because you have to stand there and wait. It's ass. And it's like getting to the point where it's like, holy shit, more and more people are jumping on the 6v6 wagon because they don't know how to fix it. Because we're cooked. The tank is terrible. It's so cooked. And you can't buff it anymore because it's already at the point where it's kind of getting broken. And I don't want tank to be broken. I don't want it to get buffed. But like you always see people saying like buff Rhine or buff whatever, and it's like these tanks are like not even bad. It's just the experience sucks. So what do you do? And then even beyond that, you know, you have little stuff that keeps the game fresh. Like Mirror Watch came out today, and it's like Mirror Watch was fun for a couple hours. It had a good time. It's actually a really good game mode. And if you haven't tried Mirror Watch, I think you should try it. It's a good time. It'll spice it up for a couple weeks, or a couple days, or a couple hours. But the real talk is the actual base game feels like shit right now. And I think it feels like shit for pretty much everybody. I don't know anybody that's really, really happy at the moment. I think everyone's just kind of meh or not happy. Tank players being the ones who are not happy. Support players are like meh. And DPS players are a little bit more on the meh, it's not bad, but specifically hit scan players. All the flex DPS players like Junkrat, Hanzo, etc. are all probably pissed off too. So, what do you do? And it makes me sad because the last few seasons, everything's been climbing and things have been on the up and up. And here we are, taking a step back. So I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, though, I just wanted to put my thoughts out there. Season 10 is probably not my favorite season. I thought it was a good battle pass. I think it's the mythics are cool. The Mercy mythic was really good. The mythic shop's really expensive, but at the same time, if whales want to spend a bunch of money to get all the old mythics, let them. You can still get mythics the same way as before. Nothing's changed. I like the changes. I think it's cool. And I do genuinely think they care, and I really think that they want to make it better. But it still sucks, and it sucks having to wait weeks. And so yeah, don't know. So basically, to summarize it all up, can't really play ranked with my friends because the system doesn't work. Tank is a miserable experience. Been off-rolling with friends this week if you've popped in because we had drops. Oh yeah, drops were good. The drops were good. Nice shop skin drops. Glad they're doing stuff like that. But yeah, you see people come in and, you know, I'm always off-rolling and it's like, why are you always off-rolling? Why aren't you playing tank? And it's like, I can't. Because one, the experience sucks. And if you don't believe me, dude, we had Seagull play the other day. Seagull came back to play Overwatch at the start of the season. He was on his 3rd tank game and I thought he was gonna have a mental breakdown. I've never heard him sound so upset. Like, he literally was like begging us to not play tank in the next game. He's like, I'm gonna just get off. Like, guys, like, please don't, like, I can't do this. 3 games and he almost like just was ready to self-destruct. It's not a normal experience. It's not something a player is gonna want to ever willingly take up, and I don't know how to fix it. So I hope it gets better. But if you are thinking about coming back for season 10, maybe hold off for a little bit. Because definitely not my favorite season. I do hope things get better, but I wanted to at least put my thoughts together in a coherent way and say why I don't like this season. And I do genuinely hope that things do get better. Anyways, though, I will say that the ranked complaints that I have is only for top level players, really, and people that are playing in really, really wide groups in medal ranks with their friends. So I understand that some people are gonna be like, and they're gonna say it, some people are gonna be like, well, you know, it's only a high rank player problem, so it's not a big deal. And those people suck, dude. Like, they have no idea what they're talking about. It's like, oh, it's only a small percentage of the player base that can't play the game, so it's fine. Are you stupid? Really quick, ball rework. I'm not a ball player, so I don't know. The shield thing apparently isn't that really good, but apparently the movement's really good with it. I don't know yet. It's still too early for me to tell, but so far it seems to be pretty okay. But the problem is, though, the experience hasn't changed in any way, shape, or form, because if you play ball and they play all the anti-ball characters, you can still not play the video game. So the rework technically didn't do anything. Just like the hog rework, where the hog rework was supposed to change the one-shot by adding this new thing, and it didn't really do much, so they juiced up his heals. And then when they juiced up his heals, he still wasn't doing a whole lot. So now he had juiced up heals, and then they added back the one-shot. And now that they added back the one-shot, he also still has the juiced heals and the one-shot again. So it's like... Anyways, but yeah, the ball rework, I guess, is fun, but did it make ball better? For the moment, doesn't seem to. Anyways, there's my review so far of Season 10.